Hey everybody out there in Hot Rod Land, it's Phil coming to you once again from Carcraft Classics. Today showing off this super cool 1979 Trans Am. For those of you that follow the YouTube channel, the Instagram page and Facebook stuff, you know that we've had quite a few of these Trans Ams, 79 specifically. Growing real fond of them. It seems like our customers love them and we can find parts for them. Really a fun car to either join the hobby, purchasing, or to throw in your garage as a driver next to your high dollar classic. Nice cars. These rubber nose cars from the late 70s and 80s have quickly become our favorites. Like I said, there's a 81 Camaro that we have that just sold to a gentleman in Indiana. But anyway, before we get started on the 79 Trans Am, for those of you watching a video maybe for the first time, this is Carcraft Classics. We're located here in Cumming, Georgia. We're about 30 miles north of Atlanta, about 45 minutes from the airport. Number for the shop is 470-239-4977. My cell number is 770-317-1415. Again, my name is Phil, and I can also be reached via email at carcraftclassics@gmail.com. If you like classic cars and neon signs, wheel and tire packages for these old cars, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. It really helps small businesses like mine with internet exposure. So now, back to the 79 Trans Am. I think this is the fourth or fifth one that we've had, and this one's in really good shape. Overall condition, I'd give it an 8, maybe a 7.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's got its shares of nicks and scratches and a little bit of fade here and there on the paint. It's not perfect, but it runs great. It's got all the factory drivetrain. It's got those killer snowflake wheels, white raised letter tires. It's just got a really good look to it. I've been playing around with the VIN tag and the cowl tag, and here's what I know about the car based on the numbers. It was built in Van Nuys, California. It is a 79 and it is a true Trans Am. That is the original color. It has been repainted, but that's the original color. I can tell it's been painted because there's a little bit of overspray under the hood, but overall it's a decent paint job. I see no rust in the body. I see no bubbles or checking or anything like that. Paint's not falling off anywhere or anything like that. There's no paint on the molding, which is all there. It's got the factory mirrors still on it. But that original color is called Mayan Red. I've got receipts from the previous owner for things like regular maintenance items that they replaced since 2007. Things like the headlights, shocks, radiator hoses, all kinds of little things here or there. But overall, you're looking at a pretty original car. The other thing we saw decoding the numbers was that this is the original 403 cubic inch V8 motor with a 4-barrel carburetor. Again, the exterior color is Mayan Red. The interior is Oyster and Carmine Red. I'll show you that here in a minute. But you can see it's a fairly high option car from the factory. It's got factory air, power steering, power front disc brakes. It's got the cool little shaker hood. I'm sure that's not the Pontiac name for it, but anyway, car runs and drives excellent. I talked before about, a good car to get into the hobby with, or maybe a driver. I mean, this thing starts up super crisp. Throttle response is excellent. Power steering is not sloppy. Goes down the road good. Brakes are working. I mean, it's not going to pull any wheelies, but it's definitely got some pep to it. When I look at an engine compartment, I'm always looking at things like the core support, the inner fenders, where the outer and inners meet, the firewall, frame rails, which on this car are difficult to see from the top side. But while I'm peeking down there, take my word for it. I look at all these spots under the hood because if the car's ever been in a front impact, an accident, these things are going to make that readily apparent. You know, you're going to see where the factory bolts are no longer in the fenders, or they look like they've been crumpled and re-straightened at some point. This car shows no evidence of that. It's too old to run a Carfax or something like that, but take my word for it. Oh, before I shut the hood, for the purists out there, let's see if we can get a little bit of a shot of the cowl tag. Hopefully you guys can see that. But if you can't, just give me a holler. Again, my cell is 770-317-1415. And we'll also put a still shot on the website of that cowl tag for sure, so you can see it. But you're welcome to give me a call or shoot me a text. I can send you a picture as well. So there's the money shot. For Trans Am lovers like me, that's the best angle to view this car at, as far as I'm concerned. At the Trans Am Bird, aka the Screaming Chicken. It's seen better days, there's no question, but it's hanging in there. It looks pretty good for an original 79 Trans Am Bird. Remember, 79 is what? 43 years ago. It's hard to believe, but anyway. These decals are legendary. Just like the TA 6.6 liter on the side of a little shaker. So again, paint is not perfect. It's got some fade marks. Those look like maybe old water spots. We did detail the car, but I didn't want to hit it too hard with the machines, because you never know how much paint is left. Again, this one has undergone a repaint, at least down the sides. The hood does not look like it's been repainted. Again, it's got the original Trans Am Bird on the hood, but anyway, the nose has got a few little scratches here and there. This is a driver quality car. It's not a perfect $1 million show car, but man, looks great, drives great, awesome car for the money. And by the way, the money, we're asking $26,500 for this car. Trying to be fair so the common, person, man or woman, can afford it while still keeping our doors open. That's our goal here, our business plan. Sell affordable classics that the average Joe or Jane can come in and buy, not deplete their 401k or end up in divorce court. And this thing's well worth the money. Again, as I mentioned, runs and drives excellent. And the look in that Mayan red, the contrast between that and these cool 15-inch snowflake wheels is just killer. Tires have tread left. Car really needs nothing. The AC is not blowing cold, but it is blowing. So if you're someone who's handy, can chase down that leak, possibly replace the compressor, I'm not sure. I'm sure it'll pump cold in that cabin. Or, if you're not a handy person, we can certainly take care of that for you. But just love the body on these 79s. I like the 78s too, but new for 79 was this cool, smooth, aerodynamic polyurethane nose. And all these ground effects, which you'll see on the chin spoiler. It's in pretty good shape, except over there on the passenger side, it's got a chip in the paint. Just for full disclosure. It's got its share of chips, as I mentioned, little faded spots here and there. It's got some character. I wouldn't call it patina because the paint isn't rubbed off or anything like that. But it does have its share of wear spots. But no bubbles that I can see. No paint flaking off. Those rust blisters are terrible. They drive me crazy. And this car doesn't seem to have them. It still has its very cool wind deflectors in front of the rear and front wheels. Give it that Trans Am look. Got the dual exhaust coming out both sides. That's 2 into 1 into 2. Exhaust with the dual on each side is kind of unique to the Trans Am. I'll show you the trunk here. It's got a subwoofer in it. Got a decent stereo system. The trunk pan, as you can see, is not rusted out. Quarters appear to be original and uncut. Awesome. Yeah, I don't see any seams in the quarters or anything like that. Pretty car. So again, while the paint has its share of small little flaws here and there, it is a straight car without rust that I can see. Now, of course, we didn't paint it, so I'm not sure what's under there. And the car has undergone, as I mentioned, a repaint. But you got a good-looking car here. You got a really good-looking Trans Am for $26,500. Snowflake wheels, white leather tires. One of my favorite things on the body on these Trans Ams is those wind deflectors in the front, the fender scoops, and that shaker style hood. Just a killer feature. As I mentioned, the trim is all there. Factory mirrors, glass is good, windows roll up and down. We'll get to the interior in a moment, but just so you can see, there is one crack in the dash. Not terrible, but there is one crack. I think the car is showing 60,000 miles. I don't know if that's 60 or 160, but we do have a clean title on this car to share with the buyer. Awesome car. As I mentioned, no lower rust spots like some of these old GM cars can get. We'll have pictures of the undercarriage, still shots of the exterior, interior, engine compartment and trunk up on our website, carcraftclassics.com. Here in about 24 hours, we'll shoot those pictures where we can see each angle, each side of the car clearly. Interior's in decent shape. I'd call it a 7. Things like the rear package tray here could use to be pulled and maybe painted and reinstalled. But you know, it's not coming apart, it's not missing. There are a few spots on the interior that could use a little attention, but nothing crazy. It's a good driver quality car. Great bang for the buck, as these things are just climbing in value and popularity. Probably because the guys that dreamt about these back in the late 70s and 80s are getting around my age and they have a few bucks they can spend. I want to relive those high school days, so they're really popular. A great investment. Again, the interior is a combination of the oyster color, which is what you see here on the door panel, which we just really brought back to life. It was quite a bit more dirty, but my detailers, James and Mikey, did a knockdown job here in this car. Shout out to those guys. Now we got the tall, high back bucket seats, middle console, automatic transmission, 10-bolt rear end. I believe all these Trans Ams came with a 10-bolt posi rear end and a turbo 350 transmission. Back seats are in great shape, of course, like they always are, as they rarely get sat in. But it's good to know the carpet, the seats, everything's in great shape back here. Headliner. Interior light does work. Sail panels in good shape. Nothing drooping, nothing falling apart. This is a hardtop car, no T-tops. Got the legendary 3-spoke Trans Am steering wheel. It's got the metal turned dash bezel, another legendary feature of the Trans Am. Tack is working, all gauges are working. Speedo, there you see she's showing 67,000 miles. Or I'm sorry, it's at 6,700 miles. So probably 106. Some more gauges, and there's the AC control. Sorry, the lighter is missing. Dash is in decent shape, except for that crack. Love the high back seats, just scream 70s. Again, glass is good, windows roll up and down. Let's fire this sucker up. Like I said, really crisp starting, throttle response, all that stuff. Let's see if we can get a radio station on here.
Roger.
The stereo system's pretty good in this car. When I went to pick it up, buddy Greg came flying up the driveway.
A deal for companies across.
Stereo blast, and I was a little jealous, to be honest.
Her with an expression that said, "Finally."
Of course, we can't find any radio station on right now. Rock and roll. Gotta play rock and roll in this bad boy.
800-343-60. Wait, call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
For a limited time, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 9/21/22.
Trust me, it's got plenty of power, that stereo system. But I know what you really want to hear, so I'll be quiet and let you hear this exhaust. So again, the interior is a combination of oyster, which is kind of like an off-white, and carmine red, carmine. Nice little sound to it. Nice little exhaust tone. Like I said, I'm slowly falling in love with these cars. I've had a few. The rubber nose era, as I call it. Camaros, Trans Ams. They're awesome. So again, my name is Phil. My cell number is 770-317-1415. Give me a holler if you've got any questions or you'd like to make an offer. Remember, the asking price is $26,500. We can also help you with light repairs. We're not a restoration company, but light repairs we can handle in-house, and shipping as well. Just let me know. And financing. Our preferred lender is JJ Best Bank. You can contact them at jjbest.com or give me a holler and I'll put you in touch with my rep. They'll be glad to work with you. So again, asking price $26,500. Give me a holler if you have any questions. Want to schedule a test drive or make an offer. Mayan red 1979 Trans Am. Automatic transmission. 6.6 liter V8. 10-bolt rear end, dual exhaust, power steering, power disc brakes, AC. Beautiful off-white interior. Clean title. Just give me a holler. Thank you so much for watching the video. Sorry if I'm talking a lot here. I just want to get in all the details that I know all you guys and gals out there want to know. So thank you so very much for watching the video. God bless America.